Welcome or welcome back. My name is Eden Izora, and I'm so glad to see you here today. It feels like forever since we've talked. I've been kind of playing around with new ways of creating ASMR content. And I don't know, I personally prefer to watch longer ASMR videos, like, 40 minutes plus. And for the most part, a lot of my videos were more around like the 15-20 minute mark, which is fine. That's all that I really could handle to do, especially with posting so often like I was. But I don't know, I kind of wanted to create the type of videos that I personally would enjoy watching and focus more on making like one long video instead of like 3 short videos. Also, another reason for that is because YouTube puts an ad at the beginning and at the end of the video. I don't put any ads in the middle, so that way if somebody's watching it to fall asleep, they'll have a longer time without, an annoying ad jumping in. And for longer videos, of course, that gives you longer to fall asleep. So, that's why I've been uploading less frequently, but longer videos. So, I've enjoyed it so far. I've made like 3 videos so far that are like around the hour mark. And, that's kind of easy to do with role plays. It's not easy actually. It's hard to find an hour worth of stuff to do, but a lot of ASMR creators do that, so it is possible. And I don't know, it kind of allows me to further immerse myself in whatever role play situation I've created, and I highly enjoy it. I'm always laughing and giggling behind the scenes when I think of like something funny. I don't know, it's not even funny, but it's funny to me, because inevitably there are parts of this process that are bizarre, and I enjoy that a lot. It really is like an element of play for me, and as an adult it's so fun and unfortunately kind of more rare to find those playful opportunities in everyday life. So I love it, and I'm sure, the more videos I make, the smoother the process will be for me. But that did leave me thinking, if I'm creating all of these videos that are longer, that are role plays, it kind of made me wonder where that would leave the rambles, because I love a good ramble, and I love listening to them and watching them. As a person who is highly sensitive, sometimes at the end of the day, I'm so overstimulated that I can't really handle watching like regular media where people will randomly like shout or just make really loud noises, which I enjoy most of the time, but not when I'm overstimulated. So, rambles or like ASMR style talking to me is very relaxing, and it kind of helps bring me down and stay like, calm. So yeah, I want to continue doing rambles, but kind of in this format, more like a podcast format, which is so fun because I love podcasts. And so I'm experimenting right now. You're in an experiment with me of doing more of a podcast type of vibe for my rambles. And I can even call it a podcast. Maybe I will. But I need to think of a name. So let me know what you think I should name this. And I will be doing longer rambles about various topics in a podcast-like vibe. But of course we'll, talk in a very chill way so as to not disturb the vibes. So you can listen to it before sleep or whenever you're just trying to stay chill. So, yeah. That's kind of the update. And I did ask for questions the other day on my USA video, 4th of July video. So I will answer a couple of those. They're all mostly ASMR related. Although I guess one person said, Arthas asked, "How are you feeling?" Thank you for asking. I'm feeling really good, actually. As I go through this kind of development, personal and spiritual development, it's a spiral, an upward spiral, but it kind of always comes back around to like positive and negative experiences. So I do have times that are like a little bit more difficult emotionally or externally, but right now I'm in the other side of the cycle, which is the fun side, where I just feel good and things seem to be flowing a little bit smoother. So that makes me really happy. Mermio TV1 asked, have you been to Europe? I did go to Europe when I was a little kid. I was like 2. I have like scattered, distant memories that I don't know if they're from there or from somewhere else, because I was raised in New England, and sometimes some of the places there kind of have a similar vibe. But yeah, I don't know. I definitely need to go again in the future, now that I'll remember it. I did recently get my passport again, so it's on the table. My family recently went there, and I could have easily joined them, but because I do get disrupted by traveling. I don't know why. I mean, there's obvious reasons because it's like chaotic, but I kind of take a while to sink into my routine and pick up extra stuff along the way that I want to add into my life. And if I'm traveling, it kind of puts me into a bit of survival mode where everything that's not an absolute necessity, I just kind of stop doing. So like in my normal routine, maybe I will be working out more, journaling, taking vitamins, like whatever else I might be doing. And if I'm traveling, it's like that's out the window. I'm just in the moment. I'm thinking like I only do what absolutely has to be done, and everything else I just let go of. Which,
to be honest, it can be a little exhilarating, because when you're in the present moment like that, when you're forced to be, because you're like in survival mode, I feel like sometimes it does make me feel more alive, because I'm forced into the present moment. I can't think about the past and the future because I can't handle it, so all I have is the here and now.
But nowadays, I'm trying to get to a more healthy version of that, which is I can still, think about the past and future, but I'm in the moment, but not in like a survival type of way, in a thriving type of way. So, yeah.
Somebody named XERQKS asked, do you see yourself continuing your ASMR journey in the future?
Yes, I absolutely do. I love doing ASMR, and I love watching ASMR. I was watching some TikTok live last night, like ASMR live, for a really long time, and I was like giving gifts in the chat because when I did it, I think she said my name in like a really cool way a bunch of times, and I don't know, I really like that. So yeah, I love ASMR, and I will continue experimenting with it for the near future. But of course, if I ever feel sick of it or whatever, I'm not gonna force it. So yeah.
Steve Newski asked, what made you do ASMR?
So that's something that I've talked about before in other videos. I went through a really hard time in my life, and I went through some traumatic events, and like also events that were traumatic but not in a physical way, more in just like a mental way of like betrayal. And these things kind of brought my life to rock bottom. I feel so dramatic saying that, but it was true. And I couldn't sleep. I had really bad insomnia and just bad mental health overall. And I lived alone in a little house, like a little shack, an Airbnb. There was these guys that lived in the main house, and then they had like a little house in the yard that they would rent out. Very small. And I lived in there for a few months, and I just would have so much fear because of my like PTSD type symptoms, and I would have to stay up like almost all night because I couldn't like lay there in the dark because I couldn't stop like seeing things in my mind of like scary things I was imagining that could happen related to my trauma. And I would just go on my phone, because when I was watching my phone, like a TikTok, my mind was seeing those images, and so I couldn't think about the scary ones, or it like kind of covered over it. And I was scrolling one night, and this lady came up on my For You page named Ella Chi, and she was doing like Reiki through the camera, and it was having an ASMR effect on me. I didn't even really realize that, but she was basically talking about like chi, like the universal life force energy, and she was like doing things like kind of like petting your face almost, and she was like blocking negative energy and then putting like protective light. And I personally get a lot of ASMR, like I get triggered from visual triggers, and so it was very visual and like nice. And also the things she was saying were very nice, and like for me, because I felt so alone and so sad and like, you know, all the sad things, having that kind of like pseudo intimacy was really life-changing for me. And I would just watch like her playlists of videos. Like I would literally be like watching the phone sideways in bed, sobbing sometimes, and I would fall asleep every night with just like the phone next to me, listening to her. And she just had a really kind aura, and I don't know, that's what first introduced me to it. And eventually I started looking on YouTube, because it was kind of tricky with the TikTok videos, because the format didn't really work for me for like sleep purposes. And that lady, she has a YouTube channel now, but I think back then she didn't. And so I started searching things on YouTube, and eventually I found some ASMR creators like Josie B ASMR was one of the few that I watched, because I'm the kind of person where like I'll find a couple of creators and then I'll watch everything they put out. So I mostly stuck with Josie B because I don't know, it's like that kind of personal attention vibe that I really needed, because in my regular life I never felt like I was getting any personal attention in that kind of like intimate way. And so yeah, I loved that. And you know, when you put a lot of time and energy into something, because even by watching ASMR, you're playing a part in it. You know, you have a role as the viewer. And so the more I watched it over the course of like a year, I started to think like, maybe I could do that. And I had a friend who got me this microphone, which was really nice. And I just stared at it for a year. I never used it. I watched some videos to try to figure it out, but I just kind of like didn't use it, and it was always there in the back of my mind. I even created this channel. I guess it was like 6 months, not a year, but I created this channel in May of 2023, Eden ASMR, and I never made ASMR until December 15th, 2023. So that's kind of how I am. I will get an idea and a vision, but I don't rush it.
I tend not to act on things prematurely or before I'm fully ready. And I don't know, but I think that's why once I first uploaded, I was so ripe and ready for it that I just posted every single day after that for 40 days. And I don't know, that's kind of like how I am as a person. Like, sometimes it looks like I'm not doing anything, but I'm like doing a lot subconsciously, and then one day it's just like boom, 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 and it's like, wait, what? You know?
I think that's kind of an INFJ thing, because I'm an INFJ, which is, if you don't know, a personality type from Myers-Briggs personality test. And yeah, I think a lot of INFJs tend to be like that because of introverted intuition.
Okay. The hotel asked, would you collab with another ASMR artist?
Yeah, in person. I'm not really a fan of like online collaborations, because I don't know, the thought of it like stresses me out. But in person, like if I had another person come and join me, I would love that. I've thought about making ASMR with some of my friends in the past, but we never got around to it, and plus that, I don't know, I feel like I'd feel a little awkward, but that's okay. I could still do it. So stay tuned. Maybe I will do that. Maybe if I enjoy this format, I can have guests, like mostly just my friends or whoever, come on for the podcast and that could be cool. That could be really cool. Like, just ask questions and talk about whatever.
So, stay tuned. You never know. That could be really fun. Jonathan Xavier asked, do you see yourself doing more food-based ASMR?
So, if you didn't know, I did a 4th of July roleplay last week, and at the end, well, towards the end, the last kind of thing that I did was I had this giant watermelon, and I chopped it up and ate some of it on camera, and it was really good actually. It was so yummy, but it was kind of satisfying too, because like, you know, the sound of like eating watermelon is really nice. I don't know. So I would consider doing food-based ASMR. It's not like my priority. I think it'll be more of like a just random type of thing. But let me know if that's something that you feel really drawn to or whatever, and yeah, if I see that there's interest, then perhaps I will plan accordingly.
Frederico asked how did you discover ASMR questions? We already answered that. C Note asked, what do you do in your spare time? Are you a Marvel fan?
So, Marvel fan, I'm not, but I'm not opposed to it. I just haven't really seen many Marvel movies. Like, I think the only one I've seen is Black Panther. And maybe like Endgame, I think I saw that. Because I think I worked at Disney when both of those movies came out. And all the Disney people were really into that. So I think that's why I went to see it with other people.
Don't hate me, but I don't really enjoy action movies.
In order for me to want to watch a movie, it needs to be like really appealing to me. And I don't know, action for me doesn't really do anything for me. It's like, I don't know. A couple months ago, I watched Everything, Everywhere, All at Once, which was such a good movie. I loved it. The concept was really good, but it's funny because there's a lot of fight scenes in it, and like that's fine, but like
I understand a lot of people enjoy that, so I'm not saying that like it made the movie worse, but
let's just say that if I was gonna change the movie to be more appealing to me, I would take out the really long fight scenes, because I feel like, I don't know, for me it's like really boring.
I just kind of zone out while people are fighting. But it's annoying because it's like sometimes it's important to the story, so like you have to pay attention, but you're like, what's happening? Okay. And I don't like violence, like I don't like seeing violence, so that's another thing, but I don't know.
Oh yeah, and he asked, what do you do in your spare time?
So, in my spare time, I like to read, I like to go outside and just
Tan, or just like sit on the ground and feel connected with the earth. I like to watch TikToks and YouTube and yeah, there's like various activities that I do. I like to go to the beach. I like to write in my notebooks. I like to come up with ideas for content creation stuff, whether that be on YouTube, or I sometimes do stuff on Instagram, or other stuff for like my work. So yeah.
Keyboard player asked, how long have you been doing ASMR?
And you know, since December 15th, I believe, is when I started. So now it's been like 7.5 months, 8 months.
Wow. Dalek asked, if you could pick one superpower to have, what would it be and why?
A superpower. I guess I would pick probably like, I don't know, can it be anything, or like does it have to be like one of the stereotypical ones? I feel like I would pick to be able to just like make things appear, like whatever I need, kind of like Janet in The Good Place. Like, you know how like people can be like, Janet, give me this, and then she just appears. It's like, here you go. I would want that power where I can just be like, I need $10,000. And it's like, here we go. I guess that would make life a little anticlimactic, but still, that's what I would pick.
Okay, and then I think that's it for the questions. I mean, Goatsy asked, one celebrity you want to meet and why? And honestly, like, I don't know if there's any celebrities that I would want to meet. Yeah, because I don't know, it's like, let's say that you really like a celebrity, right? Like, a lot of people love Taylor Swift, and let's say that their dream is to meet Taylor Swift. But why? Like, when you meet them, like, what does it do for you? Like, I don't mean to sound cynical. Hi, puppy. I don't mean to sound cynical, but like, if I really like a person online, sometimes I feel like meeting them will ruin it and change how I see them. So sometimes I just want to keep them where they are, which kind of reminds me of another topic I've been thinking about. Another topic that I've been thinking about.
I was gonna bring her up here, but actually she makes a lot of noises, so I don't think that's a good idea, because this microphone picks up everything. Lexi has been seeing ghosts again, or whatever. I don't know what she sees, but she acts like she sees ghosts sometimes. Like she will stare into the air and she'll start like freaking out and like hyperventilating and shaking and being afraid. And the thing is like, it's not like she heard a noise, because other than fireworks and thunder, she's not scared of noise. If she hears something like outside and she thinks there's like a robber or something, she barks. She doesn't get scared, she gets mad. So it's not that. It's not that she hears anything. It's like she's seeing something she's afraid of. Something that I can't see. So she's had this a couple times. Like when we were in Texas, she would do that occasionally. And then she stops for like a couple months and then randomly will start up again. So I don't know. I take it as a good opportunity to sit with the uncomfortable feeling of fear. Because, you know, yeah, it definitely can make you feel afraid when your dog is seeing ghosts. But it allows you to sit in that feeling of the fear and face the fear without there being a real threat present. So it's kind of really nice, actually, because safety is a state of mind, and you will never feel fully safe unless you get comfortable with your fear. And, you know, often whenever that feeling of fear comes up, you want to do whatever you can to make it go away. And when there's a real threat present, of course, you know, you do what you have to do to fix it, neutralize it. But if it's like a ghost or whatever, you can't really do anything about that. I mean, you can like sage the house or whatever, but I have a feeling that ghosts or entities or whatever, I feel like they're chill with me. I just wish that they would stop scaring Lexi. But yeah, it kind of like stirs up that fear emotion while simultaneously being in a safe environment, so that I am given the opportunity to sit with it without needing to take an action, but rather the action is just to simply feel it, acknowledge it, and then eventually release it. And every time I do that, my overall feelings of safety increase. It's very cool. It's one of the things I have learned this year. Facing fear. So, yeah. Oh yeah, but I forgot why I went on that whole thing. Oh yeah, it's because Lexi came. But what I was talking about before was parasocial relationships. I don't know if I actually said that yet, but that's what I was going to talk about. Sometimes I will have, like parasocial relationships, which, if you don't know, what that means is that you create this sort of one-sided bond with somebody that you don't actually know. So like a content creator or a celebrity, and maybe you watch a lot of their like content and you feel close to them because they're able to open up and talk to you. So you kind of know them. Obviously you can't really know them because you don't see everything that they don't show you, but you feel close with them and they actually don't know you at all. So if you saw each other on the street, you might have this familiarity and this feeling of like, that's my friend. But when they see you, it's like, you're a random person. I don't know you at all. And it's a very interesting phenomena that is obviously a kind of new thing, I think, with social media and media in general. But especially nowadays, because people are sharing way more of their vulnerability and their life online. So the cons of that are obviously because you can kind of supplement your life with these false relationships and have this kind of feeling of satisfaction with your social needs that make it so that you don't really have as much of a desire to connect because those needs are already kind of being met. And so you feel slightly less lonely, and so you're not driven to physically get up and go meet people in real life. And so it kind of drives you further and further into isolation without realizing it. And one day you just realize, like, all of my friends don't know who I am. And for me personally, I have definitely experienced that a lot because I am an introvert. I'm more introverted, and I have no problem with being alone. I can be alone for a long time and have fun. Like, I like being alone. And I don't know, it's like sometimes I feel like it's hard for me to find people to relate to fully, or like people that I even like or that like resonate with me. And so when I find them, a lot of the time it's online because I'm able to like search out certain types of people. And so when I find them, it's like I really like this person and I watch them all the time. But in person, it's more of like you get what you get. Like, you find people just like based on who happens to be around you. But I'm working on that. That's not a good thing, right? But on the flip side, the positive of parasocial relationships is that sometimes that feeling of pseudo friendship can be really nice for people who are extremely lonely, and sometimes it can make the difference between somebody who wouldn't be able to make it another day and somebody who is able to make it another day. Obviously, ultimately, we want everybody to have their own real community and not rely on, these people through a screen. But sometimes when you are completely alone, you're like at rock bottom, you're not at the point where you are ready to go out and meet a real community. And so it can actually really help get you through some hard times to have that sense of community, even if it's fake. The key thing is just to have that awareness, because you don't want to be a person who is crazy, who thinks that it's two-sided when it's one-sided. And as long as you're aware that it's a parasocial relationship, I think that you're fine. And the more you grow and learn, the more you are driven to this desire for things to be more real and more visceral. And of course, that requires actually getting up, actually being in your body, and going out and meeting people in real life. So, I am on the precipice of this. I think I'm at that point where it's like I needed those parasocial relationships for so long, and I'm not gonna stop watching those people. I still love that feeling of watching certain channels and feeling like part of this family, but I'm also going to slowly, very slowly, dip my toe back into the pool of reality and maybe make a couple more real life connections. So, it's terrifying, but I think we'll be fine.
And that's not to say that I don't know anybody. Obviously, I have a lot of connections in real life, but there are gaps. There are gaps for sure. And I would like to create some more real life connections with people that they don't have to be the same as me, of course. But I want us to have some similarities in worldview.
Enough where we could have a conversation together and it would be stimulating for both of us, because I feel like that's what really makes me not enjoy talking to certain people, is when I feel like we both speak different languages, not literally, obviously, but they don't understand me. And if you're an INFJ, I think you'll understand what I'm talking about. But it's there are certain things that you want to talk about, but some people just don't get it, and you can still talk to them, obviously, but it's just not enjoyable. So, yeah. But I was wondering if that's something that people who are INFJ tend to do more of, with like having parasocial relationships, because of the fact that like it's hard to find people who understand you in real life. And so when you find like certain people that obviously they don't understand you because they don't know you, but like you can just tell, like you just like their personality. It's kind of like addictive to find people like that online. And it also gives you hope, because you feel like
if this person exists online, then that means that there are people out there that I get along with and that I like.
So it just gives you hope for the future, I guess. But yeah, I'm excited for this next chapter. As always, there's always a next chapter that I'm excited for. But yeah, another thing that I've been really obsessed with lately is Gypsy Rose, and I was thinking about doing like a whole hour-long ramble about her, which is funny, but like, you know, in case you don't know, I feel like everybody knows, but Gypsy Rose is somebody that just recently got out of jail. She was in jail because she was involved with having her mother ended, and her mom abused her whole life medically. So it's like a more nuanced situation, but now she is kind of like a public figure, and she has a reality show, and there's all this drama with her marrying this guy in jail, but then when she got out, she like wanted to be back with her ex, which, like, you know, she's real for that, like. But
there's a lot of drama, and I don't know, a lot of people really don't like her online, and I don't know, I kind of want to have a discussion about it and kind of talk about like what I think about the whole thing, and really kind of unpack the different things that I've noticed. So let me know if that's something that you'd be interested in.
I know it's like, it might be a little oversaturated because I see people talking about her everywhere, but it's just so interesting because it raises really good questions about morality and, you know, what is good, what is evil, what is justifiable violence. Is there such a thing as justifiable violence? And yeah, it's like, it's a really good, or it's not a good situation, but like it's a very interesting story to get your brain working about, you know, the nuances that go behind like long-term abuse and people doing whatever it takes to get out of that. And so yeah, I have a lot of thoughts about it. So let me know if you want to hear about that. If I do talk about it, I will talk about it using chill words. I'm not going to be like talking about anything gross as far as like the crime goes. Or like things that will make you not be able to sleep. Like, I'm not going to talk about anything like that on this. And yeah, so let me know if you want to know about that. Also, just like aside from the whole crime, I think that all of the present day drama with Gypsy Rose is very interesting. And I don't know, she's a very interesting person, even aside from her origin story. So I have lots of thoughts about it, and I have been watching a lot of stuff about her. So I guess that's kind of one of my hobbies. Like somebody asked earlier what I do in my free time. I guess I like go down rabbit holes, and for the past couple weeks I've been going down a Gypsy Rose rabbit hole. Also, my dog keeps making noises right here, so you might be able to hear that, but hopefully not. But yeah, I don't know. There are so many different topics I want to talk to you about. We could talk about, like current events, not like politics, but more like internet current events. And I can talk more about being an INFJ if you care about that. We can talk more about my lore, my backstory, and of course, feel free to ask any questions. I'm an open book. Obviously, there are certain topics I will be careful with just because this is on the internet. So, I'm not dumb, right? But like, aside from that, I will be very open and honest. So, feel free to ask me whatever. And let me know your ideas for future role plays. I will be experimenting more with doing the long form content, like around the hour mark. Also, I have done some series. The Kidnapper series, I made 4 videos, and there's always a possibility of continuing the series, because at the end the kidnapper was not captured. So I don't think. Anyways, so I could continue that series if you want. Or I was thinking of uploading just a compilation of all of the videos, so that way you could watch the whole series in one video, so there would be no ads in the middle. So let me know if you are ready for that compilation, or if you want the kidnapper saga to continue. We'd have to get really creative with it if we wanted it to continue. So that's a possibility, but let me know. And oh yeah, for my Portuguese speakers, I do want to do a roleplay in Portuguese that is long, like an hour. So that will be coming up too. So stay tuned for that. And yeah, let me know what you think about this. If it's nice, don't say anything mean, please. I'm sensitive. Thank you. And oh yeah, let me know what you think I should name this ASMR podcast. And I love you very much. And I hope you're having a good day. I will see you soon. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. I never say that, but maybe I'll say it sometimes and see what happens. But yeah, I appreciate you.